I've saved the best two speakers for last. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, I am a little bit biased. Mel Hadley from Lulu Live, will you please come on the screen? Hello. I've
Hi,
been so
Emily.
excited for your session.
Awesome. Thank
So,
you. What an introduction. No pressure, everyone.
well, I did tell them I am a little bit biased. So, um, just for a little bit of an introduction, and I'm sure there'll be so many parts that I will have missed and you will fill the team in on. Lulu Live is like my magic pixie dust to property management solutions. So they have, much like people like we heard from Matt Jones this morning, independent agents, we're here at EXP, and I like to think that we have reimagined sales across the globe. Now, these ladies have reimagined property management. Okay. Now, I always wanted to grow my own asset as a business owner. I never wanted to take on the phone calls, the managing, the appointments, the tenants calling, chasing rents, risk, and everything in between. So for me, Mel Hadley, you are my magic pixie dust to property management. So thank you. Without further ado, Mel Hadley, Lulu Live. What have I missed out on there in your
No,
introduction?
that's perfect. Thank you, Emily. And I think it is a great introduction. So thank you so much. I mean, we at Lulu Live, so I'll just explain a little bit about who we are and what we do. But I think you really touched on an important word there, which is reimagined. And so when we launched Lulu Live into the market, we're in our sixth year now, so just over 5 years ago, we really had the desire to reimagine the way that property management was done. We're very passionate about the need for the service in the industry, and we really saw an opportunity to transform the service and bring it to the market in a very different way. And so when I talk about what we do at Lulu Live, we're obviously property management specialists. We only do property management. We don't sell real estate, but we actually only do property management for people like you, Emily. So for real estate sales agents and agencies who either want to grow a rent roll and maybe haven't started, or people who have already got a rent roll and can't manage it for whatever reason. So we essentially engage with people like yourself. We become your property management team, and then we take care of everything that needs to be done within the rent roll for your clients, for your landlords and tenants, and at the same time allow you to grow that asset.
And I can vouch for them. They do. And people yesterday that I was engaging with, actually, they said, but like, so you have to like do all the forms and stuff, and then you sort of like hand it over. I'm like, no. I just go, Mel, here,
Yeah.
take it
Yeah.
all.
It's a really innovative, I guess, business model. I mean, when we launched the business in Australia, we were the first of our kind, and that's obviously a really great position to start with. But it also, I guess, on reflection, was a lot of hard work to break into the market and to create awareness of this as being an offering. Because traditionally, as most people would know, rent rolls were really owned within an agency structure, and individual sales agents who worked in those agencies may have received a referral fee for passing off a management lead, but also may not have received anything for it. And so now, particularly with brands like EXP, where you're really entering into the market and offering something different so people can go out and run their own sales office in the non-traditional way, Lulu Live in partnering with people like yourselves can do exactly the same thing on the property management front. So it's really designed to be very simple. We use a lot of technology. I mean, one of the things that's really unique about Lulu Live is that we do build a lot of our own tech, and we've really designed the process end to end to make the process and the engagement as streamlined and as simple as possible for not just our landlords and tenants, but obviously for people like yourselves, Emily, our real estate agents and principals. So there's no paperwork per
Yeah.
se. Everything's digital. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And speaking of digital, one of my massive pulls across to Lulu Live and to really go, okay, I'm going to do it, was that you made it easy and you had the technology behind it, right?
yeah.
not only did you have the technology, but you actually use it.
Yeah,
Because one
we
of
do.
my things that I have noticed with um, being a tenant in the past, and the whole property management space is that you can have as much technology as you want, but that will never replace that human component, and you still
Hmm.
have to actually use it. So, do you want to talk a little bit about the tech side of things that you have,
Yeah.
how easy you make it for us to build an asset that we actually don't have to worry about?
Sure. And look, I think it's a really important part of what we do at Lululive. And one of the great things for us is that we actually have our own software developers. And the other half of Lululive is Susanna Toop. And so, for those of you who may not know who Susanna is, she's been in the real estate space for a long time. She runs a large real estate office in Adelaide. And when she stepped in to run that business, she actually started hiring software developers to build software to fill a gap in the market. So that process would have started just over 10 years ago. And to this day, the developers still sit with her and the team in Adelaide and continue to build software to fill the gap and bridge the gap with a lot of technology that's in the market. So there is a lot of tech in the space, there's no doubt about it. But what we know is that it isn't always connected, it can be quite fragmented, and it isn't necessarily what I would call purpose built tech. So the tech that we have that we've built has been built by Susanna and the team. They are property managers sitting alongside developers and building technology to deliberately address the problems that they faced when they started running that business in Adelaide. And so with Lululive, we've been able to leverage a huge amount of that technology within our business and offer it to our clients. And then obviously on top of that, we've built tech for our business model, which is one of the really nice things. And that's what I think what you're referring to, Emily, like how easy it is to sign a client up and there's no paperwork. I mean, that's all tech that we've been able to build.
Yeah, it's just super easy. And you know what? When you make things easy for real estate agents, they tend to use these things and it really works. The other thing for me is, if I'm a fully licensed real estate agent and I've got my own brand, I see myself as the bubble here, and
Mhm.
then we've got sales off to the left hand side with EXP, and then off to the right hand side we've got property management down the other direction with Lulu Live. So, can you talk to the people listening to the recording or who are here now about what that could look like as well? Because I think that's a really important piece of the pie, is that it's a powered by. That's
Yeah,
what I loved
it is.
about it so
Yeah,
much, Mel, is that I could
yeah.
still maintain my own brand. It was still my asset that I was truly building, and the branding could still be there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess first and foremost, it is your brand. It is your brand and it is your asset. So that's really important for us as a business. We are essentially a service provider to you and your clients. I mean, when we talk about it with landlords and tenants, you position us as your property management team because that is exactly what we are. We obviously do this for lots of different businesses, but we become your property management team and you are essentially a business within our business. That's the way that we look at it. And so, because we have built a lot of the tech, one of the things we can do is offer a branding option for our clients, which can be obviously in the Lululive brand, or it can be powered by Lululive. So, your brand powered by Lululive. And one of the really cool pieces of tech that we have, which can showcase your brand, is a landlord and tenant app. And so on the face of the app can be your brand, and then within the app, it's powered by Lululive. And that's essentially the platform that owners and tenants can interact with 24/7 at their convenience if they want to get any information about what's going on in their property, if they want to see where the account's up to date to, what's happening with leases. Obviously, maintenance is a key part of that platform as well. And so we've really incorporated the brand as a way of showcasing your brand to help you promote your brand and obviously build your sales brand alongside of that.
I love that. And now you know what I'm going to ask, don't you? Because I have watched you deliver or have different fireside conversations, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and I have seen some of your technology and listened to how that technology interacts. Can you talk to people about that development, that technology, what the thought process was there? And again, going back to that easy process, like you guys have got it sorted when it comes to AI and tech in their property management space.
Thanks, Emily. Look, it's an evolution, and look, we are still building tech. So we're not a technology company. We are a service provider. So we have the tech and the people, but you just simply can't do what we do without great tech. And so I think where it kind of started from a technology point of view was building technology to address some of the biggest pain points in property management, which was around maintenance. That's the first piece of technology that Susanna and the team built, many years ago. And the thinking behind that was to create a platform where there was more transparency around what was happening with maintenance so that owners, tenants, and trades who can all interface with that platform have all the same information, and you weren't needing to come to the property manager in and out to get updates. So that was kind of the I guess the thinking behind it, to create that transparency, but also to provide tenants with the opportunity to troubleshoot maintenance problems, to save them having to take time off work to get trades out when maybe it's batteries in a remote control that needed to be replaced. So really trying to create a situation which was way more convenient for tenants. If they could solve the problem, they're obviously happy. Obviously, owners are happy because they're not sending out trades for no reason. Creating a lot of smarts within the system so that we could really identify the specifics of the problem to engage the right trade the first time. So again, not sending trades out for no reason, which is timely and expensive. And obviously for the trades, they love that as well. So they want to go out, they want to do the job, and they want to get paid. They don't want to go out, find there's a problem they can't solve, then get into a negotiation about paying the bill. It needs to be as simple as possible for everyone. And that technology was really built with that intention in mind. And that's, I think, where Susanna started the technology journey. Since then, she's built a number of applications that all interface with each other, which is great. And a lot of those applications are focused around streamlining the processes for owners, property managers, and tenants to create a better experience, to free up the time of the property managers so they can be there to have the more important, valuable discussions with owners, which obviously is an important element to delivering customer service. As we've gone forward, one of the really cool things that Susanna's been building and that we now obviously use within Lulu Live is our own AI. And so that is a game changer. The AI runs alongside of us as our own assistant. They take care of many tasks for us in the team. And they're obviously focused on removing the repetitive admin things that need to be done every day within a property management cycle to ensure that risk is managed, everyone has the information they need, and obviously that the service is repeatable. And so the AI, the introduction of the AI is a game changer. There's no doubt about it. As we go forward, we're using it more and more within our business to take care of those repetitive tasks. But also for us as a business, it's a way of ensuring that the really minute details that are required to be taken care of within property management are taken care of. And like if Susanna was here today, she would tell you that across a property life cycle, there's, I think, 422 individual tasks that are included within any property cycle. So from moving a tenant in to moving a tenant out. And if one of those tasks is not completed accurately, the flow-on effect can be sometimes incredibly risky and detrimental. And so the AI running alongside our business and taking care of that for us is a really great way of giving us that comfort that everything that needs to be done is done consistently and done correctly. So it's fantastic. We love it.
It really is.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other, unless they're trying to bring the tech in, I don't know of any other property management space that has something like what you do. And I've seen it in action, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. Okay. What are some of the key pieces that I have missed out in the Lulu Live space. Should we
Um,
talk about risk? Does that look different for New Zealand to what it does in Australia? Because that's a pretty big piece of the pie.
It is a big piece of the pie. I mean, essentially, the way that we're set up in Australia is that we are sitting alongside our agents in the management agreements. So that's the first thing. So we are a service provider to the industry, and we are obviously sharing the risk with our clients. So we are doing all the day-to-day work. Our clients are still the owner of the rent roll, so they're still the business owner, so they still carry that risk, but essentially it's a pass through to Lulu Live, who are engaged by the business owner, the rent roll owner, to deliver their services on their behalf. So that's the same. I mean, essentially, as a business owner, you can't avoid risk. But what's important, I think, in any partnership that you enter into is you make good choices about who you partner with and understand the profile of those organizations, because essentially when you engage with them, you're engaging with them to manage the risk on your behalf. So I think that's one
Yeah.
of the things with Lulu Live, just to come back to the point you made before, Emily, that is quite unique. I think the fact that we're building that technology in-house and we're building it from a property management perspective, we're obviously building technology to manage risk as much as we are to deliver service. So that's an important part of our business model, because obviously what we do is we're doing this in conjunction with our real estate clients.
Now, you're not going to bring it up because you're absolutely humble as pie, so I'm going to for you. Um, did you or did you not? Was it Innovators of the Year this year that you won?
Yeah, we did. Honestly, thank you, and I appreciate you bringing it up. We submitted a submission to the REB National Awards in the category of Innovator of the Year company, and we were obviously shortlisted, and then we won that award. And honestly, like the most um, I don't know, just I think for me to be in that position, a really young business with the absolute intention and the passion and the commitment to make a difference in this space, to be recognized in that way at that level is incredibly humbling. Um, we we definitely set ourselves a big challenge when we launched Lulu Live. We are absolutely committed to delivering on making this a better space for everybody and offering something different into the market. And so that innovation category for us is actually a really important part of our brand. It's really key to what we stand for. And, you know, an EXP is very similar in that way. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have such a long-standing relationship with EXP here, because our brands are very similar. We're giving more back and we're doing things differently.
Now, I said this to you yesterday, and I think that my peeps from my old Ray White days are probably gone now because they were here this morning. But I'm notorious now for saying I wish back then somebody had pulled me aside and said, just start building your property management asset. Sales, keep that as a side note, because I just had somebody in the industry that I know go off and build a 1,500 wide, really amazing, well looked after. So, you know what that means, you know where I'm headed with this conversation.
Yeah.
Well looked after property management portfolio. Now, she is, as I said, far younger than I, and she has just sold. She's now a millionaire and she's retired. She said
Mm-hmm.
she's going to go off and play with other business.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Nice.
talk to us, please, for those that don't understand what this could look like in 5 years, 10 years from now.
Yeah. Look, it's a really interesting discussion because a rent roll is an aggregation of properties under management. Okay, so it's a pool of properties where there's a management agreement in place to provide services for the owner and the tenant. Um, as that portfolio grows, then the revenue collected off that portfolio grows, and obviously the value of that business increases. What's quite interesting about rent rolls is they're valued based on revenue, a multiple of revenue, not based on profit. So if you've got a property that makes $2,000 per year in management fees, it's that $2,000 per property that gets aggregated, and then a multiple is applied to determine the valuation. And so if the valuation is 3 times and you've got 10 properties in your pool, 10 properties, $2,000 per property is $20,000 worth of fees, with a multiple of 3 is a valuation of $60,000. So they grow in value very, very quickly. The more properties you have, and obviously the better quality your portfolio, and the more, I guess, the better the fees are, of course. But the key thing with them, I guess, if I was kind of starting on the journey of building a rent roll, a couple of things for me which are really important. One is that they can grow very quickly. Sales agents are coming across investors all day, every day who need a property manager. Whether you're selling the property to an investor or they're just coming through your open home, these are people that are in the market, they're buying properties, and they're using property management services. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that they're not just an asset of value. I actually see them as delivering 2 other really key components to sales agents. I see them as an opportunity to build their sales brand, because every time there's a property being leased that's in their rent roll, there's an opportunity to have a signboard, which is then building the awareness of the brand. They're increasing the services they can offer in the market, so they're increasing their portfolio offering. So it's a really important part to building your sales brand and your sales business. And the third thing, which I think is hugely important, is that when you sign up a landlord to your rent roll, they're your client. You can keep contact with them. You can keep them close to you. So when a sales lead comes off the rent roll, your opportunity to secure the listing is high. And a sales listing generally will be worth more on a per property basis than one property in your rent roll. So I think that, yes, it's an asset, no doubt. Yes, these assets are traded. Small portfolios and big portfolios are traded. Their value has merit in both cases. But don't lose sight of the fact that it's a way to build your brand, a way to offer more to the market. And obviously the sales leads is a key part for me.
Oh, I love all those components. Well, a lot of us here, if we have gone independent, we are used to being part of a brand like a Ray White or a Barry Plant or a Rain and Horn or whatever it might be. And so we're used to having that management service there in the background. What we're not used to is building the asset for ourselves and actually being paid for it in one way or another. And I love the fact that you've brought up a number of things there, Mel. How many times were we handed a rent roll property as a listing in our offices? Often they would go to the principal. Sorry, but they would.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And so here, as Mel suggested, for me, my mind goes awesome. So as I'm continuing to build that asset, it creates a lead generation funnel for me as well. That all I'm doing is being in service and looking after people and checking in once a quarter and going, hey, everything okay? Are you happy? Fabulous. And as I said, I can vouch for Lulu Live, which is why they're here today, and we're invited. And you know what? I don't need to, because to be, as you said, such a young company and to win Innovators of the Year in real estate business across Australia nationally, that's just huge. So, Mel Hadley,
Thank
Lulu
you.
Live.
Thank you.
Thank you
Emily.
so much for gracing us with your presence once again. We have asked a lot of you, so thank you. I really do appreciate it, and so does everyone here. And thank you for being so smart as to think about Lulu Live, because we don't want to manage these properties, and we don't want tenants calling us about their hot water cylinder on a Friday. Love them, couldn't care less. Just want to build the asset. Okay.
And that's perfect. So thank you, Emily. I really appreciate the opportunity. As always, we love to talk about what we're doing here. So thank you for letting us share that.